welcome back to part 2 of the journal with me that I started talking about and doing in your last video. Excuse my hands, I was trying to open a sample bottle of ink that Sam had decanted for me, and it had like a dried residue, so I couldn't get the lid open. And as you can see, it looks like I have gone on a murdering spree and I can't get it off. So I thought, oh, I'm just not going to bother trying. I've used 50 million baby wipes, but it is not moving, but that's okay. So all I have left to do is a little bit of journaling on this side of the tip-in. I've done my journaling here. I'm actually considering drawing like a creature or something off the side here. I haven't put anything in here. I kind of just want it to be a really cute tip-in because I didn't pick up that much ephemera from the actual trip itself, just like this little bits and bobs and the bag. And my receipts have gone into my tax folder. So I think I'll just leave this as is and probably create a little creature on there, but don't know if I'll do that today or not. I have written on both sides of the page. This will probably stay as is. And then I'm going to continue onto this page because it is like the same week. That's what I decided to do. Plus these pages need to get filled as well because they're just all over the place. I've got random bits and bobs, unfinished pages everywhere, and I'm kind of wanting to just get them filled so I can move on and keep going. Morning pages are still happening. Here's my Tuesday pages, my Wednesday pages, and today's Thursday, so my Thursday pages. So what I'm thinking of doing is when I start these, I'm going to have a double page because I know I'm going to do 2 pages, double page spread each day. So I'll probably allocate that many pages so the weeks stay together. Normally that doesn't worry me, but for some reason, because this is all writing, I want it all to just stay together as a group. And then if I have other journaling, then I'll start my next set of pages and then take up, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 14 pages worth is a week. So that's what I'll do. So I normally prep my pages the night before, but if I'm going to do this, I may either prepare them a week in advance, or I will just set aside, that's Monday, that's Tuesday, Wednesday. And if you didn't know, on this page here, I actually had a Zig marker or Tombow marker that I was showing you guys when I was doing the comparison video, and I've got random swatchiness things all throughout this. In that video, I must have went like full-blown swatch in all the places because I have random swatches everywhere. So there was a swatch under here, but it melted, or you can see a little bit of the zigzag if you're really pedantic, but I chose colors that were similar to the pen so that it would help melt it away. It's like in here somewhere, so I just chose, instead of doing like the same colorway, I decided just to do 2 different colorways. I am really enjoying it though. It has been interesting, really interesting getting up early in the morning. I've never really been a morning person, but I am really enjoying the whole process of it. But like I said, I won't go into the whole concept of morning pages in these videos. I will set aside a video specifically for it. So it is time. See, I've got more Tombow stuff here. And I don't know whether I should keep that here or whether just journal around them. But like those pages are coming up. And I was thinking about these pages back here. Because they are so dark, I thought I could write in white, or I could use the paper that I got in the stationery selection box. Is it in here? Did I put it in here? I did. Go me. I thought about just layering the paper over, like writing on this paper and layering it over that blue, but you can't really see, it kind of loses its vibrancy, doesn't it? So that's just not gonna work. I don't like that. So that's back to the drawing board. I may just have to write in white on this section and either write in a different color up here, maybe in a pink, and then transition into white and then go back to pink. because that ink is really, really dark. I'm not quite sure how our pens are going to handle on that, but the white Signo, our white pen, works just fine over this, and this is the acrylic inks. It doesn't feel shiny or plasticky, so I feel like our pens would be fine on this. But I don't want to test a fountain pen on it just in case I ruin the nib. So far my fountain pens are doing fine on my watercolor backgrounds. I've been using my TWSBI Mini for my everyday writer, and then in the pages here I was using my new pen with some purple ink in it. So far so good. I did notice that when you have a fine nib, if you've got no watercolor, it is a true fine line, but when you hit that watercolor, it sort of bleeds out a little bit. I think that's because Sian and I were talking about it, and we think the watercolor changes the properties of the paper a little bit, so it gives it more ability to spread out. So it looks like a medium line on the watercolor, and you can see here on this leaf, if I can go in, you can see here on this leaf where that little edge there is where the watercolor has hit, and it's a thicker line. So that I found that interesting, and I kind of played with that to my advantage to try and really play with line variation with the lines and stuff. It was interesting. So I've never really noticed that before. I haven't really paid heaps of attention. I probably should, but yeah, that was very, very interesting to know or to witness happen. So a creature here, I think, and then I've got bits and pieces here which I will fill out, but I want to get that in Burrell journaling. Now I had a comment on the part 1 of the video saying that she was sad that I was going into a more scrapbooky feel, and that is not, I'm not a scrapbooker. I have tried scrapbooking in my lifetime and I'm terrible at it, and I don't think I'd be any good about doing it in my journal. My creativity is, I call myself a journal artist, which sounds kind of crazy, but the predominance of my work is found within the pages of my journal. I also love to be called a collage artist, but I won't box myself in. I think titles are necessary sometimes. When it comes to me, I don't want a title. I just want to be creative. So don't fear, the creativity in my journal spreads is still going to be full on. I couldn't not draw in my journal. I couldn't not create art in my journal. It's in my DNA. I couldn't abandon it, but I just wanted to mix it up a little bit as well, as having, you know, some of my daily life with my kids, because if my kids are going to come back and read these, they're going to just think I'm some self-absorbed butthead. But I really want to sort of mix the two, but don't fear, the art will still be stupidly strong. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to deal with the swatchiness up here, but I'm sure I'll either just write over it or turn it into something. I'm not quite sure yet. I keep staring at it going, what can I turn you into? I don't know if we could turn this into anything. I'm not seeing anything. Normally when I'm wanting to do something, I can normally see. I think this was when I was testing the Army of Odd idea with the watery faces, but I'm not seeing much. But then again, I'm kind of not looking for it. Am I in frame for once? We could make it so. Maybe we could when I randomly start sketching like this and I'm not sure where something wants to go, I will, if I'm stuck on a position or if I'm stuck on something that I have in my head, I will leave it be and I will move on to something else. I will move on to like the other part of the body or something like that. Give them little... What I am considering doing now that I've started randomly turning this into something on the fly is I want to have my pink backpack my Kunken one, hanging off his arm. You know that moment where I said, I never know where my eraser is because I'm always losing it? Yeah, we're having one of those moments because I don't know if I have one close by. That's my big pouch. Is it in here? Did I throw one in here? I do. Hooray. It's a Christmas miracle. But like, so I just want to work out, or I could put my backpack at his feet. Suddenly I've turning myself into a boy, but I think we can turn her into a girl. And if we Right. What I might do is I need to go grab a reference image of my backpack and sketch it in. I was thinking about it the other night, and especially when I got the comment about not incorporating art into my journal and doing it more of a memory keeping thing, I thought about my Hobonichi and I thought about the daily drawing aspect. So I thought about either having creatures that represent myself and having a few daily drawings in there, or just one or two images that sort of represents that kind of day. Because I really miss the aspect of daily drawing. I don't miss the pressure that daily drawing came with, but I do really miss the fact of incorporating everyday moments, like sketches, everyday moments into my journal. And I thought about having my creatures or my nook dwellers sort of representing that aspect of me, and I feel like that would also help develop the characters that I draw, having them sort of represent daily bits. But then I think, why would they have the backpack slung over their arm? Like a weirdo. But I am a weirdo, so maybe I can just have weirdo-ness anyway. Maybe I can just have really long hands. Like so. And then I would come in with my pencils and I would shade this up a bit and define the lines a bit more. And I think I kind of like that. So all of a sudden, just talking to you, I can pull in this page getting ready, because I did pack my pink backpack. I packed it full of supplies, and you're going to have a laugh because there is a blog post coming about what I used while I was away on Inverell. I took some documentation pictures yesterday of everything that I packed and then everything that I used. So I feel like that will give you guys a bit of laughing. When you actually read the blog post. I don't like that chin line in there. Looks very Helen Dardick, doesn't it? I think that's how you pronounce her name, especially with those big eyes. But they're the eyes that well, they're not eyes, they were blobs that I had on my page. So I'm just working with what I got. Otherwise, I'm not quite sure what that's going to turn into. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go quickly sketch this pink backpack and decide whether I want it here or want it down there, and then I will start the journal with me part where I'm fixing, like putting all my photographs and stuff like that in and coloring this in. This was very unplanned, as you saw, because I don't normally just randomly bust out some drawing in the middle of a video, and it's already 16 minutes. So I think I like the idea of adding in some creatures to sort of represent me. I may even give them pink hair, because I secretly wish I still had pink hair, but not until my hair is in better shape after surgery. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Do I want the legs to go off the page? No, I kind of like them as they are. So I'm going to go sketch this backpack off camera so it's quicker, and then we'll get down to getting this journal with me started, and I'll probably fill in this little creature at super top speed. Super top speed. So I decided that I wanted to outline this little creature, define his lines a little bit, and of course I'm using my Tiki Graphic in 0.1. You guys know the drill. I am not going to suddenly change pens on you, and if I do, I will definitely tell you about it. So I'm just using that thin line to outline him. This is also waterproof, so I know that it will be safe when I come to watercolor him as well. If you are using a Tiki Graphic on your Tomoe River paper, do give it time to dry a little bit. With the coated paper, it does take a little bit longer, so if you are impatient and you go to watercolor straight away, it will bleed. There's just no two ways to it, because that coating surface makes it a little bit slipperier. So just be patient, my loves, be patient. Otherwise you're going to have smearing and you're not going to be a happy camper. Now I'm just grabbing those new colors again from the Daniel Smith palette. I haven't switched any out. I was totally going to, and I didn't, but I'm enjoying them. Like, I can get a green with the blue and the yellow. I've got my pinks, my purples. It really is a very versatile palette, even though at first I didn't think it was. But I seem to be grabbing these colors constantly, even though I have my large palette to the left in shot. You can see that has all my other shades in it, and obviously I did grab it for a red, but other than that, I have been using that little travel palette consistently for the month of July, which I thought was interesting, considering that it is a little bit limited in its palette, but the palette seems to really work for my kind of style. I'm just going in with my Prismacolor pencils. You guys know that I do love to pair my watercolors with my Prismas. They are peanut butter and jelly, even though I have never had that, and I don't even know why I said it, because it sounds totally gross. Chocolate and just chocolate, man. Just chocolate. Like, they really go together well. I've grabbed my little paintbrush out to do some fine detailing, and I'm just grabbing the Payne's Grey Blue shade, I think is the color. It is a really lovely color, and also really, really beautiful for those shadows. Because that orange is so stark in that face, I wanted to come in with the darker blue and sort of tone it down a bit. Obviously this was a strange swatch that I was playing around with, so it's not going to be a complete face, but you know me, I love the weird and the wonderful, and I just work those shadows into those like nooks and crannies of the eye sockets. Same with anything else, same with the face shading video that I told you guys about. The shadows stay the same regardless of the face shape. So I've grabbed out my Paper Artsy paints, and I really, really love these. These were a suggestion by Bun in her spirits class, and I'm so glad that I actually grabbed the paints that she suggested. I love how matte they are. I love how creamy they are. Definitely a paint brand that I will add to my collection. I'm using a pale blue called Antarctica, and the pink that I use is called Cherry Blossom.
Fabulous paints. I think I need to add more. I just love how smooth they go on, how easy and simple, and the mattness. Just the mattness makes it super, super easy. And like I said before, my fountain pens have absolutely no issue with writing over them, and neither do the watercolors apparently, but you'll find that out after.
Fiddling with it. I really need to stop fiddling with it because otherwise it'll just be a video of me tweaking this. I will probably come back in and just darken shadows and do all the little pen work things that I like to do, but I don't want to give you just a video of me, you know, fussing with the creature. So I was going to print these out bigger because I didn't like the fact that the pocket will double up. And like you can see that the cloud is double there. And then I thought about just sort of sticking something in there so that you can't see the double, but I don't have anything that will work. Everything that I have is either too big or just doesn't. That kind of works, but it still doesn't. I like how that looks, but it doesn't do anything for this. Maybe I'll just suck it up and put that there because it's cute. Maybe I will. I think I will. What did I do with that page? Where is that page? Where is that page? I'm not even sure I know where that page is. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm sure it's somewhere. But I might put her there because it kind of looks like they need to be sisters. So maybe we'll do that. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the postcards, create tip-ins either in the center or on the sides. I kind of want to keep the creature visible, like not cover her up with tip-ins. So if I'm going to tip in something, it needs to be down here and it needs to be small, but I want to be able to see that. I did come in with some Paper Artsy paint just to sort of clean up that excess color that was just roguing around from the color swatches. I decided I wanted it to look clean, and I really love how this paint is really matte, and I loved how it worked on this spread with the pink. I really loved how it looked, and I also really love it on craft paper. Like, I really love it on craft paper. Obsessions are real, people. So I am going to grab out all my bits and bobs for my Invarell journaling and start working on this. Now, I decided to put the pocket on this page because the leaves that I drew on this page are done with fountain pen, and it's not a waterproof fountain pen. So I did start coloring this with yellow, and then I stopped myself because I was like, what is on the back first? And it is ink that will go everywhere. It may look beautiful, but I don't want to take the chance just in case it doesn't. So I think putting a pocket here will stop that urge to paint everything with watercolor, and then I can start adding in tags and things like that to the page. I really like her. She's totally going there. It's happening. It's already happening in my head. I may darken up some of this color just to bring back some vibrancy, but I kind of like how they look together. So yeah, that is what we're gonna do. I might even stencil the word Invarell, but if I've got postcards from Invarell, I kind of don't need to do that. But we'll see. We'll see where this takes it. My battery is flashing, so I need to go change out my battery pack, and then let's get started.
So I've used my clear tape to adhere that pocket, and I probably should have stuck my girl down before adhering that pocket, but hindsight is a beautiful thing, and it was so pain in the butt to get her where I wanted her, just peeking outside that pocket just for something quirky and different. It kind of distracts from the whole the photo is doubled kind of thing. It's all good, and I'm just working out how I want to put things together. And I know that I love to work on Project Life cards, the gridded ones. I have those full photos that I don't like using as full photos. You guys know that I like to cut my photos out and sort of create my own journal fodder. I think that's why I struggled so much with Project Life, because everything was pre-made for you, like with all the cards and things. But I really like making my fodder from like nothing, like putting it together. I think that's why I enjoy collage so much, because I'm making something myself from bits and pieces. I'm just using my normal stencil that you guys always see me use. I can't find my capital letters. I don't know where it is. So lowercase it is. I've written in Burrell, and I'm just using my Jelly Roll pen. And I love my Jelly Rolls. I don't use them as much as I should, but I do love them. And so there's that for you, Jelly Roll love. I know there's been a bit of chatter about that in the group lately, but I do really love them and use them quite a bit. Someone asked about them smudging on photos. I find they work a lot better on matte photos than they do the gloss photos, but I haven't really had too much of a problem because they are within my journal, so they don't get handled heaps, and I haven't had much problem with them scratching off. So I'm pretty useless with helping in that situation. I am just checking my planner to figure out what dates, because I'm obviously trying to record the memories and the dates of which they happen. So I had to go back and check what date did we actually drive back to Inverell. And I'm doing my ripped up paper and date stamp. It has become a cornerstone. I also realized I did the stupid date upside down like a dork. So I had to peel that back off and just turn it around. I've done that a lot lately. Stamping that thing backwards, I must not look when I go to stamp thinking I'm all elite, and then I stamp it backwards and I'm not elite. I'm just a dork who doesn't look. As you guys know, I love fussy line work. It is a cornerstone of what I do in my journal. I like to spend the time doing those little bits and pieces that make my journal my journal. And if that means sitting there and doing dash borders on everything I can get my hands on, I will do it, because I know that it's the stuff that I love looking at. I know those little details are something that someone else wouldn't take the time to do, but I like putting in that time, and it gives me time to just slow down and relax. It's probably why line work is something that I love, because I really love those little details. I know that not a lot of people will want to spend the time drawing tiny little leaves. Oh my goodness, little leaves, or little swirls, stars, dashes. They are stuff that I just love doing, and I know that they are something that people see in my journal and go, well, I know Courtney did that. I find making my own journal fodder so much more satisfying than using pre-made things, and that's not against anyone that uses pre-made things. I just find the love from making stuff from nothing, and I've said that a lot. That is why collage is something that I hold so tightly close to my heart, because I really love the act of making things from scratch. I like to know that my hands made this, my hands created this, and I know that no one else will have that out there because I created it and I did it. So I really love that uniqueness, and I know that there's stuff inside my journal that no one can recreate, and I think that we all should be like that. We should all have things in our journal that no one can mimic. It's just, I don't know, it's a good feeling. I really love that feeling. So I'm just grabbing some scrap paper that I have floating in my ephemera pouch that I'm trying to use up, and I'm using my tiny attacher just to add a tab to the top. I know that Joanna Clow has done a whole video on tabs. I haven't seen it, but I've seen the thumbnail and it looks hot. I love tabbing things. I have no reason to really tab much, but I love adding tabs to journal cards, especially if they're going to go into a pocket to make it easier to grab out. And because that is a smaller photo, having that extra tab bit at the top makes it pop out, whereas it might get a little bit lost if it was just a little bit smaller. So I'm adding to its height so that it's easy to grab out of that pocket. And I'm just doing some scribbly lines on it just to add my own bits and pieces. Like I said, something from nothing. And I'm just working on that Project Life card. This is a 4x6 one. I buy the packs of the square and the 4x6s because I love just using them as bases. I love the grid pattern. I love that it just works with my washi tapes. It works with my photographs, and it's just, I like making these weird little, it's almost like information cards. I've noticed that I've done this a lot with my tip-ins, creating them, building them off Project Life cards, because everything just seems to be easier. And because it's such a blank canvas, you can do anything with these Project Life cards. So I always have them close by. They're not fabulous quality. They are quite thin and they do not take watercolor very well. But I overlook that because I love everything else about them, and I still watercolor on them, but be mindful that they're going to warp. So sometimes I should have actually watercolored this first before I added that photo on the back, because it did warp as I tried to dry it. So if you're going to watercolor them, do it first, then add your supporting ephemera, your photographs, all that sort of thing.
Good morning, Inkies. It is the next day. Where's my pages? I am currently here. I've got a little bit of doodling to do on this card. I don't know whether I'm going to color it or whether I'm just going to doodle around it. I know I want to outline the word Inverell, and I'll probably use my planner pen to do that because it's nice and thin, or one of the new Muji pens that I grabbed that have a really fine tip. Because I can just tell that I'm going to stuff up that. So I kind of decided to just turn these into like tags with a little bit of journaling. My sticky tape isn't doing a fantastic job right now. Eee! This is what happens when I use old tape. I have to fix that. So I've turned these into just little photo tabs. I thought it would be a cute idea to draw on my scarf the way I do with my animals. I was going to go all the way down, but yeah, just too much effort. So I like tags. I do. I really love tags. So I love that sort of idea, and journaling on the back of a postcard. I always find the backs of postcards really uninspiring, especially this one. This one had some weird checklist that you would check off, like a half-assed postcode. I know it says just a quickie, but like it was really sort of, if I had received this from someone, I'd be, grateful that I got a postcard, but I don't know, it just felt really impersonal and really like an afterthought. So I covered it up. I didn't want to see it, so I just added about the whole 8.5 hours and how I'm always whinging about the trip to Inverell. I hate the car trip a lot. Poor John. I'm like a third child when it comes to big long trips in the car. I'm always like, whingy and like, I don't want to do it. So I was just writing about how I can't fathom how he did it for almost 12 months, I think. He used to drive to Inverell every Friday night after work, and would drive home to Sydney when I lived in Inverell and he lived in Sydney, at lunchtime on Sunday. And he did that every single weekend for almost 12 months before we decided to take the next step and relocate the Teacup Humans and I to Sydney. And I always think about, like, I couldn't do it. Like, I can barely do it once every few months. Like this time around, we did it once in the span of 3 weeks, and it almost killed me, guys. So mad props to him. I can't believe it, which is why I walked down the aisle to 500 miles, because it so reminded me of what he did. So yeah, it's crazy. So there's those little bits and pieces. I do have another card here, and I have a couple of photos of the kids at the playground, and my sister took a photo of the kids playing cards when she had them. So I'm going to add those to the postcard the same way that I did this, because like it's just, man, I'm not sending it to anyone. I'm using it as something. So I will either put some graphic paper down and do the same thing as this one, because I didn't want to cover the whole card up, but I wanted to add photos. So I kind of like the fact that I might even put a tab on that to make it easier to move, or I might put a tab on this one. I did my journaling on this side of the page, and I think I'm going to add some color to this, and maybe do a little bit of lettering. And I say that very sarcastically because we all know how shocking I am at lettering anything. But it's my own fault because I don't practice. So don't feel bad for me. It's my own fault. self-inflicted badness. So I have a picture of my journal when we're leaving town, the kids at the playground. This is not an umbrella. The kids playing cards at my sister's place, the picture she sent me. That is this picture, and I'm kind of like, do I put it in there because it's kind of moot, but I kind of want to put it in there just because it's a photo of Imberell. So I may do that because that can be doubled and these can be doubled. I think they're a little bit, oh no, they're around about the same size. So essentially, or I double the kids and do that, and then double that because that's us leaving town and that's us on the road. Oh, look at me being all awesome and putting things together like a pro. It's like I do this for my job. And I'm going to put them together, I think, and make them like almost like a mini book flip out on this one. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to quickly do that on camera for you guys. I'm kind of wrapping things up for you because I've done my little creature, which I'm really in love with. The fact that I started that randomly on camera and John's like was watching me edit it yesterday. He's like, what are you doing? I said, oh, you know, just suddenly drawing a creature holding my backpack. And he's like, I love you. So he's pretty good. He's pretty good. He's all right. We'll keep him around. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll probably slip those in there. I'm going to reinforce my dodgy pocket. I was going to do some journaling on this, but I think that I'll just keep it as is. I kind of like that big photo feeling that it gives off. I will add either some lettering or some block color around here, maybe a yellow, because I really love pink, blue, and yellow together. If you haven't already noticed, they are my color palette. And that would be these pages done, except I'll probably draw a creature on there, but not today. I don't feel like drawing another creature today. But yeah, so I need to then come in here, add my picture of Lige wearing my pussy hat, probably down here. Because I'm just capturing little tidbit moments. They're not consecutive, like here's the 10th and here's the 13th. They're just when I take a photo, and then I will slowly just fill these up with little photographic moments. So if I didn't journal on that day, but there was a photo I took that I like, it would become almost like a photo album, a snapshot album. And I think I will continue that forward into my journal, especially with single photos of a day, because I just love how it looks. I do have one back here as well that I need to also fill. This is the 23rd of June. So obviously they will be way out of proportion, but because these are such obscure sizes, I'm going to have to write on these ones because adding a photo to some of these isn't going to work. Or I may add a photo and write, you know, that it's endless, limitless decisions. Where am I going to put my pink pen? I don't know. But that's where I'm at. I am loving your responses to my heart gushes with my journal in the last video. I don't know what it is, but I am just increasingly becoming obsessed, and I think it's because I'm seeing my book fill out, and that is always a really exciting feeling when you're a journal keeper, because it means that you're being consistent, and being consistent in this sort of planner, journal, creativity, sketchbook, hoarding is really, really hard to come by. We have stops and starts in so many books that it makes us think that we're not actually achieving anything because we can't see a collective work. We can see bits and pieces, but we can't see consistency. And like I said, it's a domino effect, and this is definitely a domino effect when it comes to this journal. I am seeing my journal grow and grow and grow, and it is firing me up to want to keep it growing and keep adding to it. And I can see that I'm going to finish it. Like I'm at the point where I've gone, I'm gonna do this. Like this is gonna get finished. And I finished small inserts before with my normal regular TN. That's been no problem at all. But they're thin inserts. But it's been a long time since I've filled a book, like a whole book in this capacity, like I used to back in the day when I was doing my journaling in random size notebooks. It has been a very long time since I have finished a book in this size, and I've never attempted a book with this many pages, never. But I can feel like it's going to happen. Like I know it's a sure thing that I'm going to fill it. I am getting worried about my spine. I'm not even halfway through and my spine's already doing a bit of a warp, but I'm going to keep at it, and if I have to do a bit of surgery on it, so be it. I've done surgery on my spines before with my other books. My morning pages are coming along. Today's pages were a struggle, as you saw if you watched my Instagram stories. I somehow slept through the alarm. John turned it off before I'd fully woken up to the fact that the alarm had gone off. And then when I finally realized and I grabbed my book and went back to bed, mistake number 2, Raven was sitting on my arm, in my arm, headbutting me, trying just to say, stop doing what you're doing and give me some love. So I got my pages done, but it took me ages. So even though tomorrow is Saturday, I am going to get up early the way I have been doing all this week, which I didn't think I was going to do, but I feel like getting up, coming to my desk. My desk is clean. I've been cleaning my desks the night before, leaving my book open with my pen and just going to bed, so that when I get up, I make myself a cup of tea, I sit down and I start writing. And I feel like that is the best way to approach this. I think I've said this so many times. I'm not going to talk about my morning pages. I'm not going to talk about, I am, because they're in front of me. And I know you guys will understand because we jump from thing to thing. So yeah, I think that is the recipe that I respond best to. Yes, I'm going to be awake at the crack of dawn. Yes, it's going to be bloody freezing. But I feel more in control, more energized, and more kick butt when I do it this way. Doing it in bed, even though I'm warm, I am distracted. I'm distracted by hubby next to me who's like, you know, trying to snuggle into me and trying to talk to me and just being his lovely, adorable, leechy self. Or the cat comes in, like today, or my teacup humans finally wake up and then it's on for young and old. We're like, Mom, 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 and Elijah's telling me 50,000 things about Roblox, and Lily's trying to get me to brush her hair. And I want to do this in the mornings on my own, in the quiet, where I feel the most connected to my words and to my book, and when my mind has that moment to just not think and just write. And that's the whole point of morning pages. They're meant to be like a stream of consciousness. They're not meant to be thought about. They're just purging. And I think that is best done when I'm sitting at my desk early in the morning, when everyone's still asleep, when it's just me, my pen, and my journal. So that is what I'm going to do. Now that I've blabbed on for infinity, I'm going to quickly finish off these last few bits and pieces, and then that will be my journal done for my little week away holiday. I need to keep this out. Oh, it's everywhere, Patricia. It is everywhere. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. I'm actually including this quote in this month's collage sheets because it has helped me so much. It has popped out of my journal when I've needed it. It is like a magical calling card from the universe. Whenever I need to remember this, it appears. It just appears. So, I think it needs to appear in everyone's lives. So this quote is going into your collage sheets, obviously with my spin on it, but it won't be as cool as the original. So I'm gonna put that there. I'm gonna get these cards done and finish up this journal page, and then I need to start working on a Jane video for the Davin party. So that will be fun. So I hope man, I really need to fix that pocket. Where is my clear tape? I don't even know. Maybe what's on the page behind it? Oh, I did writing right to the bottom of the page. Okay, so I really am gonna have to find my clear tape. So I'm gonna quickly finish off. Gosh, it's just all too much. finish off this little one card, and it'll be very similar to like these, so I may just film a little bit of it for you, and then when I'm actually done I'll come back and show you the finished item, because it's much of a muchness with this. And then I think I'm going to use Quinn Gold, and I want to do like a block rectangle, but I don't know how it's gonna react over this matte paint, but I guess we'll find out. Where is my my paint palette? I guess we'll find out now. Let's quickly do it now, but I'll speed up the painting bit for you so that this isn't 100 million years long. While I have you here, I have just painted that quickly and sped that bit up. There's been a bit of chat about waterproof black fountain pen ink. As you guys know, I write in my journal with a fountain pen most times, and this is my TWSBI Mini in the aluminium series, and I have black waterproof ink in it. Now I did mention, I've mentioned this a few times, but just to reiterate, I know there's a lot more new inkies to the top level bit. So I use the D Atramentis Document Black ink. And this, to make sure it says Document ink, because that is their waterproof brand, like their waterproof ink. They have other inks. I do have one of their other ones. It doesn't say Document, it's a red. They also do a few other colors in the range, a yellow, a blue. I have the magenta as well in my other TWSBI Mini. So this is the Document Magenta. So there's waterproof pink and waterproof black. So they're the two black inks. I did have the platinum one. I still have it. It was sold to me as waterproof. It really isn't. It is ridiculous. And now I have a whole bottle of black ink that I'll have to use for like sketches that I have no intention of watercoloring over. And it was not cheap. So I felt a bit ripped off, but Babette mentioned this to me ages ago when I was first getting into fountain pens, and this is the one that I have stuck with. And as you can see that I've just watercolored straight over it, and it has been no problem. Also, my fountain pen had no issue writing over the matte Paper Artsy paint. It didn't skip. I didn't have any issues at all. It wrote like as if it was writing over nothing. I also have no issues writing over my watercolor pages. My daily pages are being written in the same pen and everything. So highly recommend grabbing a bottle of this if you're looking for a fountain pen ink that is black and waterproof. This is the only one that I use now. And this beauty arrived yesterday. This is a Franklin Christoph in the solid ice. At the moment I have a non-waterproof ink in there, a magenta ink, just because I loved the look of it. But when I am finished this magenta, I think that I will be filling it with the black and turning this into my daily writer, or I'll have the two and just interchange them both. This is a little bit lighter, and I did get a fine metallic Masuyama nib on this one, and it writes like a dream. Babette and Rowena and Suzanne and everyone else really weren't kidding when they said these pens are freaking amazing, and I adore it. And I can see wanting to collect all the nibs. I would really love it if they came out with a pink one. So hopefully one day they'll answer my wants, my dreams. But yeah, no problems with black ink. That's the brand that I use. I'll link it down below. Aussies, I bought mine from Larry's Post, and I'm pretty sure, you know, Goulet pens or any of those fantastic jet pens probably already stock it, but I will leave links down below if I can find it for you. Remember to actually do that, Courtney. put the links in. I know it's not fun, but do it anyway. And I think that I might come in with one of my pink Jelly Roll pens and just do a little bit of doodling here and here. And I think that will be done once I finish off my card, which I'm going to quickly do now off camera and come back and show you the finished product. So, my loves, I hope my enthusiasm for my journaling is sparking an enthusiasm in you. I know when I watch someone who is truly passionate about what they're doing, who's truly, really invested in what they're doing, their passion is transferable. It's infectious, and I hope, and so far I've heard that it is, that my enthusiasm and my sudden fire for my journal is transferring onto you. It is inspiring you guys to go crazy and journal all the things and just have fun in your journal. So what if it doesn't look like everyone else's journal? What would be the point in that? Like, honestly, if my journal looked like everyone else's journal out there, I'd be actually depressed, because I pride myself on doing the stuff that no one else is doing. I pride myself on making sure that my journal is a full representation of who I am, and I am a 5-year-old crazy person that wishes I lived in a rainbow castle. I really, really do. Like, I always say to John, you married a kid, because I feel like I'm a really giant kid. But that's me, that's who I am. So I'm gonna shut my mouth because I really need to be quiet and get my Jelly Roll pen out wherever it is. I can't see it from here, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhere. And get a little bit of doodling happening here and here, and then do my last card. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've had your journal out while I've been journaling in mine. Just hug it tightly, guys. It is such an honor to be able to fill these books with our lives. It is a true, true honor. We are creating a legacy for our children, whether we like it or not, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Even if you don't have kids, we're creating a legacy for the people in our family that will need to remember us. Yes, we have social media and everything like that, but it's not tangible. It's not tangible. We're creating a tangible memory right here. So I'll be back after I've done a bit more stuff.
So if you take anything from this video, I want you to make some of your own tip-ins, some of your own journal photo cards, grab some 4x6 cardstock, grab a postcard, but have a go at creating a tip-in, and not one like this, not one that you glue to the side, but actually a card and slot it into a pocket. If you've never tried that, maybe that's something that you might enjoy, but you've never really thought about it. Try something different in your journal. We talked about in the group about doing things for work, and how if you do creative things for work, it can be, tiring and draining. But I said to her, just try something different, and it may put a new spin on it. It may, reinvigorate you. So I'm putting that to you guys. Try something different in your journal. I am spending my morning with Ro. I am a patron of hers, and this was the mini vlog that went up this morning. So I thought I'd spend it with her as I did my line work, and that's kind of what it looks like. Like I said, fussy work. It was relaxing listening to her stress about her studio chaos while I was thinking about my studio chaos and just doing line work, because that's my calming zen moment. But it was just using my Tombow and a black pen and a photograph of my kids, and I've got a tip-in that's completely created by me. No one else has it, and I love that. So try and make a different type of tip-in for your journal, or if you do tip-ins, do something different in your journal. Try it, see if you like it. You may discover you love something and you've never tried anything new. Today's the day to try something new, my loves. Try something new.
All right. I've only got, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Just my pink doodling to do down here. You guys don't need to see me do that. It's ridiculous. But I finished my other tip-in. I've done the little books and things, colored them in. They're all ready to go. They're all popped in there. And I thought I'd just quickly show you something. It just literally came in the mail about 10 minutes ago. Now, this serves me right. I have wanted an A5 folio for my Nanami blank Seven Seas, and I decided to try a different maker instead of Rowena. That was a mistake. So I ordered from a Etsy seller called Stride Ridge. Now it's beautiful. The leather is stunning, but it is too smooth for me. I like a very smooth leather, and this is I don't like a smooth leather. There's no texture on it for me, and I like my leathers to have character, and I feel like this it isn't my thing. I got red stitching, the chestnut color, and it's really stiff. And with Rose, hers, granted this has got a soft cover notebook in it, but her folios seem to mold around your notebooks. So even though Rowena was more expensive than the one I bought from Etsy, I should have just stuck with what I know and what I love and what I know is tried and true, but I was trying to save some money. And now I will have to find a new home for this one, I think, because even though it's beautiful and the quality is stunning, it's just not something that I'm going to mesh with. And so that will be going up for sale in the Inky D stash, and I will go and order an A5 folio from Rowena and teach myself a lesson. I should just stick with what I love, and I was just being a butthead, really. So there is that. So now I'm going to go I'm going to go harass Rowena to make me an A5 folio for my blank Nanami paper. But yeah, it is beautiful. It is lovely. If you like a stiffer leather, then you will probably really enjoy this. It's finished beautifully. The edges are all finished beautifully. They're nice and rounded. I don't know. It smells amazing. I just like some texture to my journals. I'm a texture girl when it comes to leather. And this is so, you can even see, it is so smooth. I don't know if I don't want to ding it or anything, just in case. We'll see. I may keep it, find a use for it. I may give it to one of my kids. I may give it to John. I know he needs a notebook for work. This may be a nice addition to his sort of work notebooks and things. But I will be ordering a A5 folio from Rowena once she gets back to me. I saw Nicole's folio in the group and I fell hard for it. The texture, the color, the scarring up the top, it was stunning. And so I've kind of asked her, do you still have that leather? If you do, can I have an A5 in it? So yeah, that's just a little bit of happy mail. This is done and dusted for today. I'm just gonna sit on the couch and do the doodling. But that is it, my loves. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If there is anything you'd like to know, just pop it down below and I'll answer them ASAP. But that's me done. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and I will see you soon. Bye! The Animal Book, a visual encyclopedia of life on Earth. So it is a animal reference book and it is amazing, absolutely amazing. And I bought it for her because she loves to draw animals. And when I saw it, like when it came in for Christmas last year, I was like, oh my